Hello and welcome folks to an unusual, very unusual offer as far as video games go. A game about shipping. Yeah, might seem a bit dry and boring, but believe you me, this is one heck of a game. And especially one that is highly customizable, and if you want to take the time to do it, that you can tweak and improve and customize just so. If you're a bit of a perfectionist like me, just so after hundreds of hours of preparation. Yeah, I'll explain later just how it took me that long to prepare and mod the game to my liking. But first things first. So, a game about shipping. Alright, so what do you do? Essentially, you manage a shipping company. And that's much more complicated than you would think at first in game terms, because this is very detailed. And to give you a better idea, let's just dive right in. So, to begin with, plenty of language options. Very good to know. But there's a lot more in detail than that in everything else. So, starting full screen. And here we are. The first menu you'll encounter. Very simple. It's really basic in terms of interface. I do have to say that this is a very small team that worked on a very old DOS game that I loved when I was a kid, but for which I only had the shareware version. If you're old enough to know what that is, it's essentially a game for which a demo was put out, and that included the contact details in the game. If you played it for usually an hour or like a small game time or limited set of conditions, and then it told you, well, if you want to play the full game, you can mail us, and by mail, not email, actual physical mail, you can mail us the money with your address, and well, we'll send you the game. And so it went. You then posted the money, got the game back, something that as an 8-year-old, I couldn't do. I had no money. So, many years later, comes ports of Call XXL. The latest version, it keeps up, it was updated recently because it used, what was it? Some sort of plugin that was discontinued, so they had to rejig the game programming. In any case, Flash? I think it maybe used Flash. So, they had a recent update. And really the game is not so much about Flash, it's more about substance. That's what we're looking for here. So, you can save and load games you previously played, but what we're interested in is actually, you know, making a game. So, let's start off selecting what the game name will be. And here you can choose a limited play length, but we're going to essentially forever. So we're going to start off very early on. I'll show you just exactly how that is done by choosing a year. So you can start off as late as last year. I'm filming this in 2022, but we can go back to 1975. And as it says, this will affect the available ships because, of course, if we start in 1975, no ships that were designed and put to production after 1975 will be available when the game starts. And we're going to choose expert level of difficulty because I am pretty used to the game, and otherwise it'd be too easy. Here we can choose different types of game options. I have to say that there is a module specifically released with the game on which you can practice the 2D ship simulation and the 3D sim simulation if you've got the advanced versions. There's different licenses you can get. And these are pretty fun if and when you do them for fun or for specific ports and ships. When you actually play a management game over 30 years, having to control your ships not by choice, but because you're forced to when there's no tugboats available, when there's a strike on, whatever, that becomes really tedious really fast. So, no ship simulation. And so that doesn't affect real ship behavior. Let's continue on. So, here you define how many players you want to have in your game. We're going to have 8, because we want to play as number 1, but we want to have AIs competing against us. And I'm going to include a few, let's say, hindrances to our gameplay, so that the game doesn't bog down to a halt, too slow, too many ships to manage, but also so that we don't completely crush the competition, which is usually what I am able to do. So, name 1, company 1, that's us, so we're going for our name. And company, let's see, we're coming from nothing, we're rising through the marketplace of shipping worldwide, like a phoenix rising from the ashes. Phoenix. And because it is going to be a company controlled by one single mind, a SMC. Alright, so we're going to choose to play this one ourselves, of course. And we can continue to choose a home port. Our home port is going to be good old Dublin. There we go. So the lads can have a damn good time exporting Guinness, banter, and crack. And no, good old Irish crack is not a drug. Look it up. Google it. Let's see. Competitor number 2. So what stupid borderline offensive names and companies can we create? Let's see, some seafaring nations that, Leif Erikson from, Plunder LLC. Why not? And you'll be based out of somewhere in Denmark. Aarhus. Sure, why not? And he hates it. He's going to lie. Oh, okay, well. Number 3. Once masters of the Mediterranean. Salvio Berlusconi. Bunga. Società Responsabilità Limitata or something. Yes, perfect. Let's see, where's there the most crime? Napoli? Naples. Perfect. Excellent. And he hates that. He goes to Yes, much more suited to his personality. Mogadishu, yeah. Wow, that's great choice. Okay, so 4th. I don't think we're being offensive enough. Something really stupid. How's that for size? And you are going to start off in, let's see, a petrocracy, a petrodollar country. Found one. And you don't like that? Oh, you like another petrocracy. Okay, go there then. Let's see. People well known for their ship construction. Yes, Kyrgios Kargopopoulos. There we go. Why do you say we don't pay taxes? And you are going to go for, so Athens, I think it's going to be Piraeus, the port, right? Or not? Yes, there we go. He hates that, he's going to Aden. Sure. And, let's not forget the New World. Generalissimo from Banana Republic. And somewhere in the Caribbean, well, Belize is no Banana Republic, but he's going to Matadi. Okay. 7th. Let's go for some Arctic shipping, some cold weather shipping. Yes. And you're going to sail out of, let's say, Siberia somewhere, or... I know. Kamchatka, Vladivostok. There we go. And he's going to Naples. The world is all upside down. And, of course, I think we can never forget douchebags from We Suck Company. And, you're based out of, let's see. Yeah, New York. Perfect. Wall Street. No bigger douchebaggery there. They're going to Genoa. Well, they choose whatever they like. We, however, have found the game interface. So, this is pretty much it. How does it go? We have a few menus that we're going to go through in just a bit. But this is where everything happens, the world map. And every little dot you see is a port. However, these are a lot more numerous here than the base game would have. Why is that? Well, because, and this is where my 100 of hours of preparation comes in, I designed. Well, actually, I downloaded, tweaked, changed, created images for corrected goods and cargo for about 100 different ports and added them to the game through a very flexible and relatively easy system to make heads and tails of and add to the game. So if we zoom in a bit, we can see that there's dots pretty much all over. Of course, a lot more dots around Europe, North America, and Southeast Asia. We had quite a few in Australia, around the petroleum-producing countries, and in the western coast of Africa. And of course, let's not forget quite a few in South America as well, but not as big and not as concentrated as in the main shipping areas of the world, importing, exporting, and whatnot. Europe, Southeast Asia, and North America. So, the point of the game is making money, transporting stuff with ships. Sounds simple enough? It is super hard. First things first, let's save the game we just created. And let's name that, save the game. So, here we can have storm indicators that will indicate when there's a storm. That's the wind indicators over there. We can have harbors on and off, or ships on and off. This might be useful at some point if there's a lot of ships around. We have the date, of course, and we have the indication says that user add-ons are active, lots of the stuff I added in. That includes ports, but also ships, so we're going to take a look at that. And then there's a lot of information here, different menus you can use at some point. They're pretty much self-explanatory, so let's go through that. Worldview, however, you can select any ship from any broker, any company you'd like, any ship owners. For the time being, there's none. Here, we can go to our office and check out pretty much everything we like about our company. The office will change according to how successful we are. Currently, it's pretty much your home office. We have no assets, no ships, no performance to evaluate, no ship positions to check on, no bank account, no shares, no ranking, etc., etc. We are going to come here and put this up to ship shape so we can maintain decently seaworthy ships. Maybe just up to careless, in fact. With the ships we're going to have at the beginning, I mean, they're not going to be in very good condition anyway, because they're super cheap and old. But eventually, we might want to bump this up to ship shape, and at some point, if we can afford it, to gleaming, where you could eat off of the ship's floor, I would assume. So let's apply to all ships, though there's none yet. Marketing. Let's have no marketing. We don't have money to put up for that. And the training module will be for the ship simulation. We're not going to do that. This is where you would come to train your shipping conduction skills. So, stock market, it could be fun to dabble a bit, but it's a pretty simplistic simulation, and I find it's not that engrossing, so I tend to not use it at all. Here is the meat and potatoes of the game. Let's go see the shipbroker. So, here's the Cairo Shipbrokers building elevator, and we could go to the ship sellers market if we had any, ship accessory market if we could have any ships to buy accessories to. Consultants tells us what we can do. So, liner program, first level, new tankers, high-tech ships, etc., etc. And that's self-explanatory. So, high-tech are the most recent and best ships, but also the most expensive, because they're brand new. Special ships are ships that have a very niche market use, like transporting refrigerated bananas, or like a dedicated cement carrier, or stuff like that. Pre-owned ships, which are second-hand ships that are not necessarily too old, but are no longer in tip-top shape, and so are cheaper, but also you could end up spending a bit more in maintenance, keeping them afloat because they're no longer the best out there. And then you have our market range at the beginning, low-cost ships. And those are the dregs of the sea, essentially rust buckets that can barely stay afloat, but that'll help you turn a profit when you've got no money whatsoever. So that's what we're going to look at to begin with. And once we get in here, we can see that there's quite a few different models of ships available, and that there's a number of the said model to the side that says we could, if we had the money to, buy up to 16 billets de France, 27 trillions, etc., etc. And this, like I said, is the true meats and potatoes of the game, knowing your ships and finding the right models for you. And here we go. One model of ship, picked at random, just the last on the list. Let's see what all this means. So price, this is what you have to pay to get it. Delivery time is the time it'll take for this ship to be delivered at your home port. ships are always delivered to your home port. And that's where you can start selling them off to, or if you want to repair them, put them up for dry dock at your home port. Ship condition, 57% is terrible, let's be honest. You can repair this at the dry dock, like I said, or through ongoing maintenance. So that is why we set that little tick a few pegs up from the worst type of maintenance to some sort of modicum of decent maintenance to make sure that our ships just don't sink by themselves. Corrosion condition means that the ship is quite old, so in 1975, this ship was built in 1952, it's more than 20 years old, so there's a lot of accumulated fatigue and rust in the ship. Operating costs, self-explanatory. Passenger accommodations means that we could carry 12 people from port to port on this ship. Because it's a cargo ship, it's only 12, it's just basically the quarters within the small living spaces available up there. This is what we're mainly going to be looking at when you buy a ship. How much fuel does it use a day when it's all out? So this is full power, full steam ahead. The power of the engine that affects the speed, typically, but the fuel use. The bunker is the total amount of fuel in the ship, so in your tank, that you can use to power your engine. So you can multiply this per days, or divide that by the amount of you're spending per day and know how many days you can sail. You can be underway at full speed. Essentially, in this case, we could go maybe 20 days one way and have essentially half, actually maybe 1/3 of the bunker, because you have to add a few days from just waiting to be able to dock at a port and then out and so on. So you can you always need to add a few days for whatever may happen underway, and docking and undocking, leaving dock at the beginning and at the end of a one route. So essentially, you could go at full speed ahead for, let's say, 25 days, conservatively speaking. And up here, you've got the actual draw tonnage, so the overall, and the actual BRT, meaning so the total and the carrying capacity. Draft is what goes under the water, so under the water line when the ship is in the water, but that could go lower if it's fully laden, so you have to watch out for that as well. Beam, pretty self-explanatory. Length, self-explanatory. What we're mainly going to look at is how much we can carry and how fast we can go and how long can we go at that speed. And how much does it cost us to run the boat, the ship. Pardon me. How much does it cost to run the ship per day? So we're going to go a few of these so you can get a feeling for it. So this is an even older ship. This is a passenger ship. As you can see, it carries a lot of people, but almost no cargo. Right? So this is a cargo ship. Another cargo ship. If we go to something like Queen of Swamaramaramaran, you can see that it's a specialized ship that carries cars and trailers, for instance. So it can carry sort of a ferry. People, cars, and trailers. It doesn't really carry much in terms of capacity there. And if we move a bit further up, for instance, this is a cruise ship. As you can see, lots of people, capacity, but no actual cargo capacity. This is just for passengers. And nothing else under here. And as you can see, it is pretty fast compared to cargo ships, but if we go further up, like a big cruise ship, like this big boy, this at full steam ahead can go at 31 knots. That's like military ship speed. Quite impressive, but it costs $75 million. We only have one. Yeah. So we're going to have to look for a very, very cheap choice. So I know these ships by heart pretty much. And I know which ones are the most cost effective, which are not so cost effective, which we can turn a profit on more easily and whatnot, which routes would be best used for each type, etc., etc. So we're going to go for, I forgot to specify tankers. Tankers, for the time being, are not the best of choices, but eventually we will have a few. However, I must note that to not bog down the game with too much time lost on different voyages for different ships, managing lots of ships for one day, and then turn the clock one day and then lots of ships to manage again, the game would last for years, essentially. I'm going to limit the company to 5 ships at any point. So we will never have more than 5 ships under our control, so things can stay quick and dynamic. So, to begin with, one of my favorites, really tiny ship. You can carry 9,000 tons of cargo. We can go at 13 knots for quite a long time. So if you calculate this, it's 14 a day, 10 days, 20 days, 30 days. We can essentially go around the world with the ship at almost full speed before the bunker runs out. So that means that, in essence, we could go from any port to any port without having to refuel along the way, at nearly full speed if there's no mishaps along the way. It's cheap to run, it's cheap to buy, let's go for it. So we signed the contract, we can have a mortgage on it. I don't think we're going to do that. And we're going to say it's a cargo ship, it's a Trellion, and it's the first one we have. There we go. We might have more or not. I prefer to have sort of a system that tells me what type of ship it is, if I don't recognize the name necessarily, and if we have more than one, that we know which one it is. So, complete purchase and pay, let's sign on the dotted line. And we want to use the same maintenance level that the office uses. Yes. And they sincerely hope that the tub does you for a while, because it's terrible. It'll be delivered in 2 days. Fine. Let's exit the shipbroker. And let's start moving time forward. And there it goes. It's going to be delivered in Dublin in 2 days. Let's see what happens. Aha! And there we go. We have some news. So if you notice, I've enlarged the screen here so you can see all the stuff to the side. This is a sort of an information feed that comes along whenever there's anything new. Essentially, this is telling us that this year there's new ships being put to market. Just for the fun of it, let's take a look at the most expensive ship that was designed this year. So the Wyoming, a tanker vessel. So let's go to the shipbroker, high-tech tanker, Wyoming. And as you can see, this is a big boy. 356,000 tons. It's 360 meters long, 60-meter beam. It's huge. And it's a Suezmax. That means that it can no longer use the Suez Canal nor the Panama Canal. Suezmax is as big as they come. Panamax, already not so good if you want to go around America. That's a lot of extra sailing, underway shipping lines because of it. So you try to work around that, not having to lose too much time by not being able to cross the canals. As you can see, most of the big tankers are Suezmax ships. There we go. So, one thing. So I can show this off. Ship accessory. Now that we have a ship, accessories we can buy are a small anti-pirate ship that would protect the ship in case of piracy. Yeah, piracy is a thing. Your ship can get attacked at sea, and if it does, and the pirates win, you lose your cargo. You don't lose the ship, but you lose all your cargo, and that's not good. So, if you have one of these, they can detect the pirates and, have those water cannons to fight them and whatnot. It decreases their efficacy by 90%. You have a great big defensive system, 99.2% protection. Essentially, that's what it means. But this is a terrible ship. The cargo in it is not going to be worth that much, and damn, these are expensive compared to the ship price, so we're not going to have any. And we're back to the world map. And here we go. The ship is ready, and we come to port. So let's check in on the options here. So we have a synthesis of what the port is. We have a port view that for the default ports doesn't always have anything detailed here. You'll see that for the ports I included into the game, we always have at least two, sometimes a lot more variety of views over here from the actual city. I actually went to search for publicly available photos of each and every port and added them, like edited them, ported them in, and I did the same. We have like satellite pictures from the port that we will have when we go to a port as an entry image. Pretty neat, pretty neat. So, the port side of things. We can repair, refuel, charter, meaning choose our cargo, lay up, putting it in dry dock, and load the cargo to sail off. So, we're going to go to charter, and we want to figure out what cargo will return a good profit. So, we're going to go to result per unit, meaning per unit of cargo, how much is going to be paid. And there's a pretty good price, well, decent enough, $43 per ton, but that's pretty short in terms of time limit. If we calculate the route, this is a max speed underway travel time. As you can see, 31.2 days plus the discharging, well, plus the day lost for charging, that's already 35. If there's anything on the way that goes wrong, we'll be stuck. That's no good. Too tight for us. Niigata, if we're going to transport electronics to Niigata, that's already not so well paid. If we go there, it's 40 days. It's a very long way around, even using the Suez Canal over there. Yeah, might not be the most cost-effective option. So there's actually not a good... Yeah, there's no good route for us from Dublin. So let's go to the freight market and see exactly what other options there are available to us. So let's choose our source continent, Europe. That's where our ship is. So we want to find a nearby port with good cargo. And we don't really care about wherever we have to go. We are going to define cargo, however, because we're not carrying passengers with a trillion. And we're going to search. And there's going to be a bit of a wait, and there we go. All the freight available. So let's go to the filter for price, and as you can see, $332 per ton. That's a lot better. However, that's not a lot of cargo. We can carry a lot more than that, and we might not really want to go to Jamaica just for that small delivery. It's a long limit, so if we keep an eye out for cargo from Europe to North America that can go along with that, we might reserve this freight in addition to our other main freight. So let's go down the list a bit and see if there's anything decent for us to carry. We're already getting a few options here. Venice to Miami, another Europe to North America, and it's also a pretty decent price. So you might want to reserve both of these and join up on that trip to North America from Italy. And if we see, let's see, anything more from Europe to America somewhere. Let's do that filter then. Europe to North America, Europe to North America. So there's Gioia Tauro to Kingston and Venezia to Miami. And then we got Glasgow to San Francisco. That we have to cross the Panama Canal. We don't want that. Le Havre to Santo Domingo. Well, there's a lot to carry, but it doesn't pay that well. Yeah, we might risk not having a full cargo. So let's go just to the two options we saw. So let's reserve this freight. There we go. And go back and reserve that freight. Okay. And now we know we have to go to Venice. So let's search for the destination port, Venice. I know Venice is over there. I know Gioia Tauro is in the south of Italy. Right there. So we're going to go to Venice, then Gioia Tauro, and move on back to North America. So let's go first to Venice. We need some cargo to take to Venice. There's nothing we can get paid for, so let's just have ballast. And we're going to protect ship from overloading, so we don't want to fill it up to the brim. And let's load up the ballast to travel. And there we go. Ship is now ready to sail. We're going to use a tug. And I think we can go full speed ahead to Venice. It'll take 10 days. Let's speed things up a bit. So as you can see the opposition ships traveling along the their own routes. And our ship is ready. So here's what I was talking about. For each port, I created a personalized satellite view that indicates the port name and shows off the docking positions and whatnot. Sometimes I close in on just the port area if it's not too interesting a landscape elsewhere. Sometimes I have a wider view like this. These are much better, in my opinion, than the default images that the ports have that are not satellite images. They're just sort of a simplified diagram of the port. I prefer these. So let's use a tug again. 5,000 bucks is nothing. And we're going to have refuel. And notice that there's a red notification here. So let's refuel this. 90 bucks per ton. That's pretty cheap. We'll have all we can. Okay, and we're going to charter precisely what we had reserved. There we go. And we're going to go to Gioia Tauro now, because we have more cargo to pick up from there. So we have an extra 4,000 of available space on top of the Gioia Tauro cargo. Do we want to take anything else to fill up the... That's not even worth taking, really. It's so cheap. No. Okay. So let's go to Gioia Tauro and pick up the hemp we reserved over there. And we're going to sail off. And again, we're going to go full speed ahead. We can afford it. And money is dwindling because of all these shipping expenses, and we're also repairing the ship underway because the maintenance level we set is higher than the actual ship condition, so it's going to be repaired up to the level we set. And here you go, Gioia Tauro. It's a very interesting port. It's obviously a designed port. It's not a natural harbor. Very long container port. And here we go. And there's a little image that I got for Gioia Tauro. And let's go pick up our cargo over here. We reserved the hemp, so let's take that on. And let's just check if there's anything else worthwhile. Well, not to North America at least. Yeah, not really. Just in case, let's check if there's anything in Europe to North America that we should take. So, Le Havre to Santo Domingo, yeah, we saw, we don't really want, that's a bit too far. Edinburgh to Tampico, La Spezia to Chetumal. Where's Chetumal? Is Chetumal on the Atlantic side of America? Or on the Pacific side of America? On the Atlantic, okay. And Mexico. Is that Mexico? Yeah, it's probably still Mexico. Let's see. $65 days. Well, maybe it's worth to take that. Yeah. Let's see. La Spezia. Not too far away, so let's go there and pick that up if we can. We have the time. And there we go. Full speed ahead. Actually, we didn't optimize that. I'll show you just what I mean by that on the next trip. Okay, another nifty little image with a harbor protection breaker there. Use Tug's help. These images are usually, I try to make them as evocative as possible, so you know exactly what if the captain of the ship would see out from the port when he's there. Fuel's a bit more expensive here, so let's not get that. Charter. Okay, so what we saw was to Chetumal. Yeah, this. Yeah, let's take that. So, what's closest? Miami, I think, right? And then Kingston, and then Chetumal. Yeah, let's do that. First, Miami. You can hire an escort vessel if you're going to dangerous waters, but the Caribbean isn't really dangerous, so... Okay, so we're going to sail off from La Spezia. And here what I meant is that if you do this, and it's like 17.5 days, and you just go like that, you're still under 18 days, but you're not spending as much fuel, so that's what I meant. Let's do that. And on our way to Miami. There we go. And so here you can see what the default maps are like. I mean, serviceable, but nothing special. And here we go. Another evocative image. This actually is a default image, I think, from Miami. Let's try to refuel. 100. Yeah, not terrible a price, so... let's do that. And is there anything good to pick up? No, not really. Is there anything good to pick up elsewhere in North America? That is close enough for us to make the detour. Maybe Altamira, but that's South America. Caucedo to Yangon, St. John to Osaka, rum. Yeah, we might pick that up afterwards, in fact. Oh, Mobile to Moara. That's actually a good price for an entire cargo full for one of our ships. So we might do that instead. Mobile to Moara. We're going to Asia. Yeah, we'll look into that. For the time being, let's go to Kingston and load up. Yeah, we can't go under 2 days, so let's do 2 days. And there we go. Good. Into Kingston. Pretty expensive fuel. No, I don't mean to lay up, I meant to charter. So Chetumal is just a couple of days away. Anything good to carry? No. Yeah, I think we might go back to take that cargo we saw. Okay, let's go to Chetumal. Can I go under 2 days? No. Okay, so let's go just under the 3-day mark. And Chetumal, here we go. It's a small port with a few dock points, but nothing spectacular. But what a view. That's part of the pleasure of this game. You get to the, wow, is fuel expensive here. No, we're not gonna refuel over here, that's for sure. And we just got paid. Nice. Anything good to carry from here? No. So we're going to do our check from North America if there's any good cargo to take somewhere. And we saw that there was some pretty decent cargo. To take from Mobile to Moara, a full load over there. Okay, so Mobile to Moara, how much can we carry? 9,180, so that's important to know. And we can come here and filter by cargo and Mobile and Moara. Oh, this is in TUS. Damn it. Can we not reserve by tons? Really? Huh, that's odd. I thought I remembered we could reserve by tons. So TEUS is essentially the standardized measurement for containers, but our ship is not a container ship, so we should be able to filter by ton. Huh. Well, I'm going to quickly do the math on that. So 40,000 tons is 3,000, essentially 2/3 of 9,000. Let's go for 550. Let's be on the safe side, not over reserve. Let's reserve 500. Ah, we cannot because we don't have the... Well, never mind. Then let's go to Mobile as quickly as we can so we can catch that that business. There we go. I've got some ballast. get there as fast as you can. Under 3 days. There we go. Mobile. And, whoa, the stealth ship dry dock. So, still pretty expensive, but we might not have a choice. Let's see how long it takes to get to Moara. So, let's load up. We want everything we can take. And how far is it? Really, really, really far. Okay, we're gonna need every bit of fuel we can get. Because we're going down the Panama, right? And across, yeah, the Pacific. Okay, so that's 38 days, 42 days, 44 days. We only have like a 9-day margin. If we go at full speed, we're going to go at full speed. Let's go out of Mobile. Maximum speed. Just for under 40 days. No. Tiny bit up. Come on. Okay, there we go. And we're gonna have 260 tons left at destination. So like I said, we can go pretty much around the world and have a few days to spare. So we could essentially still sail for around an extra 18 days at full speed, pretty much, until the bunker ran out. So if we have to do something along the way, we'll still have a bit of maneuvering space on the old bunker, fuel bunker. So let's start the journey and start traveling south. And there we go. We went across the Panama Canal. So we paid the toll to pass the Panama Canal over there from Manzanillo, Colón to the Panama side of things. And we're on our way across the Pacific. Now, isn't that something? And we're pretty much back at having close to $1 million already. Now that's some good business. And that's going to be all for this time. Till next time, folks.